Okay, so this is the login page for your employees and managers. We have user-based security, so depending on how the individual has been set up within the system will determine what they'll be able to do and see. Natural HR also supports single sign-on, for example through Active Directory, and there's also an option for secondary authentication. So Natural HR allows for the user to, in addition to entering their password, to also enter a specific characters of a 6-digit PIN number for added security. So I'm just going to log on as an employee. So this is the landing page for your employees. As you can see, I have branded the system for Echo, so I've added in your company logo and brought through your branding colours. So it's very visually modern and appealing. I've logged in here as Amy Hancock, so I'm just going to start by taking you around the screen. So on the top left-hand corner on your company logo, at any time when you're in the system, if you just want to get back to this home screen, you just simply click on your logo, and like most websites, it will take you back to this screen. Also along the top here, we have an envelope. It's got a little 2 by it. This enables your employees and managers to log HR tickets, so it's an HR ticketing service. So if I just click into there, we can simply add a new ticket. You can set up as many different ticket types as you wish, and you'll be able to then monitor where your queries are coming from and report on those. The employee just simply adds in their subject for their ticket, their query, and some information, their questions. When they send that, that will go through to the HR ticketing page. Also on the top right here, under my name, Amy Hancock, I have my profile, so I can update my profile here. So you can capture information like hobbies, interests, you've got skills, qualifications. There's a number of different options there that you can add into the profile piece. And then we've got localization. So with localization, this enables the employees, for example, where they maybe have colleagues in other countries and they want to see when they have bank holidays or public holidays, then they'll be able to view those on their calendar. So this is simply for visually being able to see these dates on their own calendar. So for example, Amy's going to click on the US, and then she'll be able to see any bank holidays that her colleagues in the US would be taking off. Okay, so on the left hand side here we have a number of icons which I'll take you through in a moment. Depending on what the business has decided to switch on and make available to your employees will depend on how many icons are viewed there. In the centre we have, underneath my photo, I've got what would you like to do. If I click on here, this gives some shortcuts to some of the key areas of the system that you expect your employees and managers to access most frequently. So updating their personal details, requesting time off, maybe adding expenses, etc. In the middle we have our time off donut, so you've got a visual of what holiday has been taken, how many days left to take, and any mandatory holidays that are like bank holidays, for example. Also here there's an option of recording goals, so you've got the individual's performance against their goal target. Under notices, we've got a number of notices that Amy has to complete within the system. She would have also received an email to ask her to complete these as well, and depending on what workflow's been set up, there may be reminders, escalations to manager, what have you. So just for an example, we've asked Amy to sign a document to say she's seen the launch of the new HR system. So as we click into that, it gives a link to that document that she needs to read, and then to sign it she can simply either type her name and the signature is auto-generated at the bottom here, or alternatively she can draw manually her signature. Easier on a mobile device, of course. Okay, just scrolling down, there's an option in the middle part to record company values, maybe mission statement. On the left hand side here we've got a social stream, so employees can post and others can like or add comments to those posts. You could also use this, as we do in Natural HR, for welcoming new employees into the organisation, congratulating colleagues for promotions, etc. So very flexible. It's like having your own internal kind of Facebook page. We're moving a little bit into the middle here. I've got my team, so there's a quick link to Amy's team, and she can click into these and she can then also view their profiles. If she's on a device that enables email or phone calls, she can simply click in here to contact them as well. Then we have the calendar. So the calendar can be set to, is very flexible again, so it can be set to view just employee time off. It can be set to record training, which you can see the whole department, maybe the whole organisation, company events, etc. So, and you can see here where I had clicked on, so Amy could see the US holidays. She can also see there that Easter Monday is also a holiday in the US. Okay. Oh, the other thing on the calendar is we interface with external calendars. So, for example, Outlook and Google Calendar, any entries that are made within the system can then be pushed out to those calendars as well. Top right hand corner, we've got the employee pulse. So this gives like an instant feedback on how employees are feeling in the business, and you can have the option also of asking them to write a comment of why they clicked that particular face, in the sad face for example. Announcements, so you can have a number of different sort of titles for your announcements, and again very configurable. And then we have your Twitter feed here that's been pulled through, so really reflecting your company brand and culture. Okay, so that's the main screen. I'm just going through the icons now on the left-hand side. So the first one under self-service, under my development, Amy will be able to view her competencies. So her competencies against her job role and maybe any aspired role. She'll be able to view her goals and her reviews. See a total reward statement. So if I just show you the visual of that. So this shows the employee not only their salary, but their benefits as well, and then their total reward statement, the total cost of their reward. So really helping with employee retention and not losing people just based on salary alone. And then we've got my training. So a couple of different elements here. One, obviously we're recording the training that individual has completed. We can also have a course library, so employees can go to the course library and select a training and complete a form to go through an approval process, or they could go in and enter the detail of a training that they wanted to attend that isn't in the library, giving full information of that training, costs, etc. And then again, it could go through a workflow approval process. Then under my personal details, the employees will be able to update their address, their bank details, emergency contacts. My job is where they'll be able to see a copy of their job description. My payments is seeing payments outside normal salary. So for example, maybe pension, payments, commission, that kind of thing. My vehicle, so if you needed to track the car that Amy uses for her job, then you could track that there. Then under my requests, so Natural HR can support 360 feedback reviews. We've also got employee suggestions in here, so so really again encouraging employee engagement. So an employee could write their suggestion, give it a title. You could maybe link this to a company objective or a value. The body, the information around their suggestion, and they can decide if it's anonymous or public. And then they can submit those suggestions through. Expenses, mileage, claims can be entered into Natural HR. Recognise a colleague. So as we saw on that front page on the social stream, this is where, and this can be pushed out from here. So they could select the employee they want to recognise. Again, maybe linked to company values or objectives, and then information of why they want to recognise that employee. If they click on private, this just remains between the employees and the manager. However, if they don't click on the private, it gets pushed through to that social stream we saw on the home page. Okay, there's surveys within the system that they can complete. Time off is like the calendar. Entering holiday or an absence. Time off map to view the full entire annual calendar. So good for a visual review. Time off tracking is where an employee can sort of clock in, clock out, and then we've also got timesheets built into the system as well. Okay, under the intranet, so we've got a number of options within the intranet pages. So the HR pages, very flexible again, so you could push out information like you can embed videos in there, you could just have free text, you could have photos, so very flexible. Again, you can have different, so I've got company events that I've set up here, I've got company benefits where I've got information about the pension, for example. So a great way of passing sort of HR information through to your employees. Calendar, that gives you the same calendar that we saw on the front screen, but on a full page. The directory, so this is where employees can look up their colleagues, so they can search and filter on manager name, their name, department, site, their business unit or other. So for example, maybe first aider, and then they just simply click on filter. And it will come up back with all the colleagues that are first aiders. So again, if you're on a mobile device that enables phone calls or email, then they'll be able to click straight through to them from here. The documents, there's two key elements to documents. There's the documents, my document category, so this is the documents for that individual, so maybe contracts, letters, any correspondence, and then there's the company documents, so policies, health and safety documents, etc. And then forms, so any forms that are available for employees. So for example, here in my demo site, I've set up a recruitment referral form. If I simply click on the plus sign there, I can fill this in and submit a referral for a job role. So I've asked for the candidate's name, what the relationship is to the employee, which vacancy they're suggesting they'll be suitable for, why they're suitable, and then again I've got here the option to enter, sorry, not an option, it's to enter in the employee signature, so either auto-generated or draw manually. Organisation chart. So the organisation chart within Natural HR is dynamic, so as employees leave and join the company, they'll automatically be entered into the org chart. Now you can move, what I like about this is you can move, if you've got, obviously you're going to have a much bigger organisation than I have here on my demo site, you can move it around. You can also filter, so if you just wanted to see a particular site, for example, so if I hit head office and then filter, it will show me all the colleagues are in head office. Now where you see a blank, that's because the individual in that role isn't based at head office. Okay, from here you can zoom in or out. You can also print the org chart. Now what I've also got here is I have set Amy up with marketing rights and marketing permissions. So she's set up as an employee with marketing permissions, which allows her to write these announcements that we see on the home screen on the right here. She can update the branding settings, and she can update these pages, those intranet pages that we saw up here. So HR doesn't have to be responsible for all of that content, and that can be pushed out to other colleagues within the business.